Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the Philadelphia Eagles are always in the mix when it comes to bold moves, strategic trades, and building a championship-caliber roster. But this offseason, there's a rumor that's been making waves, and it's not just your typical speculation. No, this one involves a potential blockbuster trade that could shake the entire NFL, and more specifically, alter the balance of power within the NFC East. That's right. We're talking about the possibility of the Eagles going all in on a trade for one of the most dominant defensive players in the league right now, TJ Watt. Now, before I dive into all the details, I want to set the stage a little. The Eagles have been building steadily over the past few seasons, assembling a roster that's not only talented, but also hungry for a Super Bowl. Last year, we saw incredible performances from the defense, but it's clear that the front seven still has room to grow if they want to take that next step and dominate consistently. With guys like Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, and a promising group of young pass rushers, the Eagles are stacked, but also aware that adding a proven game-changer could elevate their defense to an entirely new level. So let's talk about TJ Watt. If you're a real NFL junkie, you already know what Watt means to a defense. Since he entered the league in 2017 out of Wisconsin, Watt has been nothing short of a dominant force. Drafted 30th overall, he made an immediate impact, and from 2018 onward, he's been a perennial Pro Bowler. His stats speak volumes: over 100 career sacks, 7 straight Pro Bowl selections, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and a single-season sack record of 22. 5, which he tied in 2021, matching the legendary Michael Strahan. That's the kind of player that can completely change the complexion of a defense, and the Eagles have been known for valuing players who can make game-changing plays, especially on the edge. But here's the catch. Watt is currently in the final year of a massive 4-year, $112 million extension he signed back in 2021. He's seeking a new deal in the $35–40 million per year range, and negotiations with the Pittsburgh Steelers have hit a bit of a snag. Watt skipped OTAs and minicamps, signaling that he's not exactly happy with the current situation. It's not uncommon for players of his caliber to leverage negotiations, but it does raise questions about whether Pittsburgh might consider trading him if the right offer comes along. And that's where the interesting part begins. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Steelers, especially a franchise so proud of their history and their star players, are probably not eager to part ways with Watt. He's the heart and soul of their defense, an irreplaceable presence. But in the NFL, anything can happen, and sometimes, teams are forced to consider moves that seem unthinkable. What if the Steelers are presented with an offer they can't refuse? That's the scenario that has some analysts and insiders buzzing. One such analyst, Mitch Milani from Bleacher Report, has floated the idea that the Eagles should make a move for Watt. And he's not just talking about a small trade. He's suggesting a significant, blockbuster-type deal. According to Milani, the Eagles could send Pittsburgh their 2026 first-round pick, along with a 2027 second-round pick and a 2027 fourth-round pick. In return, they'd acquire Watt, a proven difference-maker who could instantly transform their defense into one of the league's most feared units. It's a bold proposal, but it also highlights just how much the Eagles are willing to invest when it comes to winning now. Think about it for a moment. The Eagles currently have around $8 million in cap space, which is enough to absorb Watt's hefty contract demands, especially if they structure the deal creatively. Adding Watt would not only bolster their pass rush, but also send a clear message to the NFC. The Eagles are committed to contending at the highest level and aren't afraid to make big moves to get there. Now, let's also consider the current state of the Eagles' defense. They lost some key players this offseason: Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, and veteran Brandon Graham, who all contributed to their pass rush last year. Combined, they accounted for 14 sacks, which is a solid figure, but the team clearly needs more firepower up front if they want to consistently pressure quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, or even future MVP contenders in the NFC. Nolan Smith, who had 6 sacks last season, is promising, but he's still young and unproven in terms of being a consistent game wrecker. Jalix Hunt, Aziz Ojulari, and Josh Uch are all talented, but adding Watt would be like hitting the jackpot, an established star who can come in and make an immediate impact. And let's not forget about the defensive philosophy under Vic Fangio. The new defensive coordinator emphasizes a versatile, aggressive pass rush, and Watt's skill set perfectly fits that scheme. His ability to rush the passer, create turnovers, and disrupt plays in the backfield aligns seamlessly with Fangio's approach. Having Watt on the edge would allow the Eagles to be more flexible, to blitz more effectively, and to keep opposing offenses guessing. It's a move that could turn the Eagles' defense from a good unit into a top-tier, elite defense that keeps them in every game. Of course, this isn't just about adding a star to the roster. It's also about the message it sends to the rest of the league. The Eagles are not content with just being contenders, they want to be the team to beat. They've proven this in recent seasons, reaching the NFC Championship game and falling just short of the Super Bowl. But to truly take that next step, they need to bolster their roster, especially on defense, where every little edge counts. And Watt, with his track record, is exactly the kind of player who can push them over the top. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, is this realistic? And honestly, it's a long shot. The Steelers have no real incentive to trade Watt unless they get blown away by an offer, and given his importance, they might prefer to keep him and try to work out a new deal. But that's what makes this kind of speculation so exciting. It forces us to think outside the box, to imagine a world where the Eagles pull off a historic deal that could reshape their future. What's also interesting is that this isn't the first time Howie Roseman has shown a willingness to swing big. Remember, in 2022, when the Eagles traded away the number 18 and number 101 picks to land A.J. Brown. That was a bold move, and it paid off, giving Jalen Hurley a true number 1 receiver and significantly boosting the offense. Roseman has a reputation for being a smart, disciplined GM who doesn't overspend, but isn't afraid to make a splash when the opportunity arises. And if Watt becomes available, you can bet that the Eagles' front office will seriously consider it. Let's also touch on the broader picture. The NFC is wide open right now. The Eagles have a talented roster, but teams like the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, and even the Detroit Lions are all positioning themselves as serious contenders. To stand out, the Eagles need to maximize their strengths, and that often means taking calculated risks. If acquiring Watt means giving up some future draft capital, but it helps them secure a Super Bowl window, then perhaps it's a trade worth making. It's all about the timing, the fit, and the willingness to go the extra mile for a championship. And remember, this isn't just about adding a star, it's about creating a domino effect. With Watt on the roster, the entire defense would lift its game. Opposing offenses would have to game plan around him, which creates opportunities for other pass rushers and coverage units. It's a win-win situation if it happens, and that's what makes this rumor so tantalizing. The Eagles have the cap space, the draft picks, and the organizational will to make such a move if they see it as the right fit. In the end, the question remains, will Howie Roseman and the Eagles front office pull the trigger, or will they stand pat, trusting their young core to develop further? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, if they do go after Watt, it could be the move that cements their status as Super Bowl favorites for the next few seasons. It's the kind of bold move that defines a franchise, that shows you're willing to do whatever it takes to bring home that elusive Lombardi trophy. So, Eagles fans, what do you think about this? Is T.J. Watt the missing piece for this team? Would you be willing to see the Eagles give up some future assets for a chance at glory right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of this franchise. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and insider news, so stay tuned for all the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come. Let's keep the faith, keep the passion alive, and get ready for what could be a historic season for Philadelphia.